Hey guys, what's up? It's Miss Dwyer. Today we are going to be talking about poetry and paraphrasing and making some of our own connections to some of my favorite poetry. So I hope you guys will enjoy it. So first, let's talk about what exactly our goal is for today. You guys are going to read a poem, you're going to paraphrase it, and then you're going to answer some questions about the poem. We're going to talk about the tone, the literary devices that the author uses, as well as your own personal connection. So paraphrasing, this is something that we've done in class before, but just to refresh your memory, paraphrasing is when you restate a text in your own words. It's like a summary because you're rewriting the original piece in your own language. The difference is a summary just gives the main ideas, where a paraphrase includes all the details. Because a paraphrase includes detailed information, it can be long, if not longer than the original, because some of the wording used in the passage or poem may not be easy to understand. And if we take the time to put it in words we understand more, we understand the passage or the poem and we're able to get it on a much deeper level. So this is a really important skill that I really want us to work on. So here's an example. All that is gold does not glitter. Not all those who wander are lost. The old that is strong does not wither. Deep roots are not reached by the frost. So this is by Tolkien from the Lord of the Rings book. And let's take a look at each line. All that is gold does not glitter. So this is a metaphor, right? And what he's saying is that things are valuable don't always look like it on the outside. Not all those who wander are lost. Sometimes people need to explore for understanding because the destination is not as important as the journey. The old that is strong does not wither. Even if things are old, if they are strong, they can last for a long time. Deep roots are not reached by the frost. If you have goodness and strength deep in you, evil cannot take it away. So this is a beautiful little piece, and when we paraphrased it, we saw that our paraphrase was longer than the original, but it's because Tolkien used a lot of language that packed a punch. So when you paraphrase something, it's okay for it to be longer or for you to use different language than the original author used if it helps you understand it better. So the poem we're going to read today is called The Weary Blues by Langston Hughes, and it's from a period of time called the Harlem Renaissance, which is my absolute favorite history time period for literature. So this was a movement that took place in Harlem, right, which is in New York, in between World War I and the middle of the 1930s. So Harlem became like the jump-off spot for artists, right? Black writers, musicians, photographers, poets, scholars. It was like the happening place if you were Black and creative. So we've talked a lot about Jim Crow laws in the South and how after the Civil War, life in the South for African Americans remained pretty terrible for a long time. So this thing called the Great Migration happened, which is where droves and tons of African Americans from the South moved up north looking for a better life, right? Less racism, more job opportunities, all that kind of stuff. And in doing so, all of these sort of artistic and creative movements that came from African Americans in the South mixed with the creative influences in the North. And it created this like perfect place for this new type of creative expression. So a lot of it had to do with like political rights, right? That it was like a time to be really proud of being Black. It was really big with music. So jazz and the blues were huge as part of the Harlem Renaissance. And so, you guys know me, this clearly laid the ground for hip hop that would be born a few decades later in the same area. So, the Harlem Renaissance is really what gave birth to the hip hop movement, which is probably why I love it so much. But it was just a really exciting time for African American artists in this country. So that's some background on the Harlem Renaissance. So join me in the next video, and we're going to talk about the Weary Blues, and I'm going to read it to you.